A large law enforcement presence here at the former house of serial killer Billy Mansfield as the Hernando County Sheriff's Office investigators make a discovery inside the infamous home called by Spring Hill neighbors a house of horrors. A live report here with 8 on your side, Marco Villarreal here as Eagle 8 HD here live for you in the center of your screen here, folks. Hey there, Marco. This is a story that folks have been talking about in Hernando County, in the Tampa Bay area over the last several days. Now Eagle 8 HD is here at the scene. We see a heavy law enforcement presence here, and from Eagle 8 HD we can see that investigators are doing work here at the property of serial killer Billy Mansfield. What's the very latest here on this story?
Well, it's interesting to note that we've have several, not only Hernando County Sheriff's deputies out here, but we've also seen forensic units and forensic experts from USF out here. So something is happening. This is day 2 where we have seen activity at the home, at this property. Many call it a compound. It belongs to the family of Billy Mansfield. And we are told everything started kind of Tuesday morning, really early Tuesday morning. Gary Mansfield, who's the brother of Billy Mansfield, who right now is currently in prison serving 4 life sentences for killing 4 Florida women and 1 woman in California. This is where his brother and his father live, and they've been out here, you know, for deputies, I should say. Law enforcement has been out here over the past several decades, several times, investigating things, but most recently it was Tuesday. They ended up picking up Gary Mansfield again on drug charges, and he was charged with several of that. From what we were able to hear from sources to News Channel 8, we were told that Gary, as he was being arrested, was telling deputies, you know, I want immunity, and I'll tell you there's bodies here, but I want immunity. Well, he kind of gave away what he needed to get that immunity, and that we believe that may have been enough for deputies to continue their search out here. Now, we heard from the Hernando County Sheriff's Office that when they did a search out here, they did in fact find illegal drugs and other drug-related items out here, but then they found, separate to that drug case, they found some suspicious items that they have now sent to a lab, and this could be, 2 days later, why they're out here searching in the back of the property, and what you're seeing on Eagle 8 HD from up above is what they're doing out there. So, JB, this is kind of what we're seeing. It doesn't look as busy as it was on Tuesday, but it could be because now they are more focused on what they're looking for.
Yeah, and I want to read some notes here, Marco, from, of course, Melanie Michael, who's been on this story here as well. She has wrote that decades later, neighbors once again saw these investigators return here this week. They have brought bulldozers here. This seems to be what we're looking at here from Eagle 8 HD in the center of your screen. And Marco, you can't see the view that we're seeing here on WFLA now, but this is clearly an excavation process here. Do we have any idea as to what's going on the property as of this morning?
From what we have seen, we've seen a couple people, a guy that mows his yard. I don't know who he is or what he does out here, other than that we did see him mowing the yard out here, but he's been able to walk around. We were able to see some deputies talking to a couple other people here on the property, but that's kind of where a lot of the questions lie right now, because this is a large property. And when I spoke with neighbors out here yesterday, they tell me that this isn't just a house on a big piece of land. There are several mobile homes, several trailers, and there's a lot of property out here. And so it's very possible, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 mailboxes out here. So it's possible that there could be several residences on the actual property. So right now, what they're looking for, from what I've been told and from what I've been able to see out here, they have a mobile command unit out here. Let me step out of the way so Peter can show you kind of what we're seeing. We have the mobile command center out here. We've seen an ATV going up and down this private road, which is Roundup Lane. And then we have seen along the road here, we have seen several other vans, forensic unit vans, and again, we've seen one that belongs to the USF forensic experts, and we understand they're out here. So as to what they're looking for, we're not sure. The Hernando County Sheriff's Office has made sure, well, they have not confirmed with us that it is actual human remains out here, but they found something, they sent it to a lab, and then other sources that we've been able to confirm with have told us that in fact they did find human remains out here. What that means, and a lot of the questions the neighbors had out here, and we even spoke with someone yesterday, my fellow reporter Ryan Hughes spoke to a woman who believes her aunt may have been a victim of Billy Mansfield back in the 70s, early 80s. But now the question is, if they do find human remains on this property, is that something that ties back to Billy Mansfield, 4 decades ago, or are these, is this a fresh case? Is this something new? Is this somebody that has gone missing recently? And if that's the case, are there other people involved with some sort of nefarious crime that ended up having a victim buried or hidden on this property? So there's a lot of questions right now. It's still the very beginning, and I'm sure a lot of these questions are the same ones that investigators have as they're out here just gathering evidence and trying to find what they can here on the property, JB.
Yeah, and when we're talking about these potential human remains, and of course, we'll get to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office here in just a moment, but these human remains, I mean, we have no idea what exactly that means. If we're talking, if this is a bone fragment, if we're talking about an item that was connected to a body, whether it was a piece of clothing or what exactly we're talking about here. But Marco, in all likelihood, the remains that we're talking about here could have been here, like you said, for decades. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. If it's of course connected to Billy Mansfield, these could be human remains dating back for an extended period of time.
What was that again, JB?
Yeah, these remains could have been here for an extended period of time, right, Marco? I mean, we're talking about 1975, mid-70s.
Correct, and into the early 80s there, and again, like that's person we spoke with yesterday, the niece of this woman that has been missing for a long time, for decades. It's almost as much as you don't want to find out that there's more victims here, that there's more bodies. There are people out there that would almost welcome the conclusion, knowing what happened to their loved ones, and hopefully seeing some sort of justice, even though he's already serving a life sentence, if it was in fact connected to Billy Mansfield in some way.
And we have, of course, a live report here, or a report that actually was filed a short time ago with 8 on your side, chief photojournalist Paul Lamison. Let's see what Paul had to say here. This is a moment ago from Eagle 8 HD.
You are looking at the Hernando County Sheriff's Office searching the home where the serial killer lived. You can see they're digging up dirt underneath this extension to a home. You see they're digging, and what they're doing is they're digging, putting it into buckets, and then they're moving the buckets over here and dumping it into this pile where they will then sift through and look. This investigation has been going on a couple of days now at the property here. You see they're dumping the dirt into that area. I'm going to move the camera over and show you the area where they're digging. Right to the side of this house that's out buried in the woods. Really tough to see, but they're underneath there, and they've been focusing on this area. You see the buckets, they're filling buckets up with the dirt in this area. Again, they're looking for any remains or any evidence they can find from earlier cases. They believe they've found more stuff, so they're digging in this area. And again, they move it over to this area where they dump the dirt. I'm going to now move the camera out wide and kind of give you a lay of the land where we are. The road right to the right of here is called Roundup. It's a little dirt road off the main road, and you can see back in this area they have their crime scene units set up and down this road. Also in this area are old trailers. Lots of junk that we see down here just scattered amongst the trees. And again, this is a tree-lined area and very tough to see underneath the trees. But again, there is the home that they're looking around. There's the house. This whole back area that's set off is where they're digging underneath. So again, once we find out more information, we will pass it along. But again, this is a very active search in this heavily wooded area. So we're going to move the camera back out and show you where we are. Again, this is up in Hernando County. And again, this is what they've been searching for the past couple days. So we're going to leave it here, and JB, I'll throw it back to you in Eagle 8 HD. Paul Amison, 8 on your side.
And that was a short time ago from photojournalist, Eagle 8 HD photojournalist Paul Amison there for us. And this is now live here in Spring Hill. Paul moving around the camera here to show you. This is a live look inside the area where they are searching at the home of Billy Mansfield on the right side of your screen. 8 on your side, Marco Villarreal, not too far away from the property itself. Let's get into some of the particulars here one more time. We're talking about, on the record, what has been described by the Hernando County Sheriff's Office, Marco, as the discovery of suspicious items, but again, sources inside saying that these are human remains that have been discovered here. And now we have the most law enforcement agents that we have seen over the last several days are at the site here now, clearly excavating and sifting through dirt, trying to, of course, figure out how much is actually underneath the surface of the property here in Spring Hill. But as to, there's so many people here in the comments section trying to figure out what they found and how old these remains or these suspicious items are. And these really are the big two questions surrounding this case as of right now.
Yeah, what exactly is it that they're finding in there, how long it's been there, and who those remains could belong to, if that's in fact what they're finding back there. But Tuesday is when all of this started. Again, for those that are catching up, Gary Mansfield, which is the brother of Billy Mansfield, who's the convicted serial killer, well, he got arrested on Tuesday. He's facing several drug charges. When they came out here to investigate, they found meth on the property and a bunch of other things. And then while they were here, that's when they found, as the Hernando County Sheriff's Office said, suspicious items that were then sent to the lab. We didn't see a lot of action here yesterday. It was pretty quiet, which a lot of the neighbors here were very grateful for, because on Tuesday, this whole area was just crawling with vans, with trucks, with deputies, with forensic units, and then it was kind of quiet yesterday. But then again this morning, here we are again. We see deputies are here. We have seen a van, and we have seen a team of forensic experts from the University of South Florida that are out here, which means it's possible they may have gotten results back from that lab and from those suspicious items, right? Now, we do want to mention something as well. Our very own Melanie Michael was able to speak with the son of Billy Mansfield. So this is Billy Mansfield III, was able to speak with him, and he talked a little bit about growing up right here, right on this property, where we're kind of told it's more of a compound than it is just a house on a piece of land. There are several homes out here, and he talked about his father. He talked about the last time that he saw Billy Mansfield talking to police. He was looking outside the window of a home here, and that was the last time he saw his father. And he talked about having that continuous contact. He still talks to his father while he's in prison right now. But then he said that this was interesting when he heard about the news that they were out here investigating, that there were potential human remains found on the property. He said it would not surprise him whatsoever that there would be several bodies still buried here on this land. He also did not have the kindest words to say about his uncle Gary, who was arrested. And he said in the discussions him and his father have had that he seemed to kind of point that it wasn't Billy that was responsible for the victims that have passed away or that were killed, but in fact his brother, according to Billy Mansfield. So that's kind of where we're at right now. It's just interesting to hear from the viewpoint of someone who grew up here as a little kid and is now an adult and is connected to this, and even he is saying it's very possible that several bodies are out here on this property, JB.
8 on your sides, Marco Villarreal here live for us on the ground there in Spring Hill. Eagle 8 HD there for you on the left side of your screen. That is a live picture there of crews with the Hernando County Sheriff's Office there currently doing their crime scene work at the former home of Billy Mansfield. As Marco noted, if you want to watch that interview, that very, very captivating interview with 8 on your sides, Melanie Michael asking questions to the son of Billy Mansfield III, as Marco noted, you can click on the link in the description on this video for those of you on Facebook Live. For those of you joining us on the WFLA app or WFLA.com, just head over to our homepage. Ryan Hughes also has an excellent report as well, talking to an area resident here who believes that their aunt might have been the body of their aunt might be here at this property. 8 on your sides, Marco Villarreal there on the right, JB Buno here with you on the left, and in the center of your screen, a live picture there as you see Paul Lamison zooming in here on the crime scene unit that is there for the Hernando County Sheriff's Office in Spring Hill. I want to ask you this question here, Marco, because we have been doing our due diligence, asking all the right questions here to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office here, asking them for the latest on-the-record statements, but they've refused to elaborate here. They have declined all media requests. They are not speaking at this time. We're hoping to get an update from them and get a little bit more as to what has transpired specifically here at the house over the last 12 to 24 hours. Any hope at all in the hours ahead there in Hernando County that we'll hear from the sheriff or from a deputy as to what's been going on there?
That's certainly the hope, that we were able to get at least some preliminary information on why they're out here investigating. They were very clear to be able to tell us what happened with Gary Mansfield, with his drug arrest on Tuesday, and the things that they were able to find with that. But when it comes to this other investigation that they're now currently in the middle of, they have been very tight-lipped, and that could be because they're trying to gather and make sure they have enough information before they say anything. And of course, if that's the case, we definitely want to be patient and let them work and be able to do what they need to do. But at the same time, we are asking for at least some preliminary information, some confirmation on why they're out here or why they have served a warrant that will allow them to get back here and be able to do some of this digging. And that's something we're in constant contact with the Hernando County Sheriff's Office. We call, we email, we text. We've had a great relationship with them, and we work well with them in being able to tell a lot of the stuff, that the wonderful things that they do here in the county. And of course, this is a big investigation, so we'll continue to work with them and hopefully be able to get some information. But we know this is a tough job. It has to be done right, especially if there is something nefarious that happened here, whether it was recently or whether it's decades old. You got to go through the process, and these detectives have to do everything correctly, or else whatever is discovered here won't stand up in court or could cause any potential opportunities for justice to be thrown out of the court system, and that's not what we want, of course. But a lot of neighbors out here, they have questions. They want to know what's going on back here. Everybody knows this property. Everybody knows the family. They know who they are and the history behind it. But now, as we see more and more forensic units out here, they want to know what's going on.
And we, of course, are going to be continuing to ask the right questions and press the Hernando County Sheriff's Office for an update here on what's transpiring at the home that you see here in the center of your screen, the home of the former home of serial killer Billy Mansfield here in Spring Hill, Florida, in the Tampa Bay area. For those of you joining us from elsewhere outside the state of Florida, in the Tampa Bay area, Hernando County, Florida. Marco, before we wrap up here on WFLA Now, and of course, we're going to have more coverage throughout the day here on WFLA.com and on air, WFLA News Channel 8. Where do we go from here? I mean, this is clearly a very active scene this morning. What's next here as far as, I mean, I'm sure the first thing that we want to do is just get a little bit of an update from the Hernando County Sheriff's Office, but where exactly do we go from here?
Well, at this point, it's just kind of sitting back and monitoring the situation. You know, in the news business, we have something that we say all the time. It's called hurry up and wait. So we hurry up and got here, and we're getting this information out to you. But as of right now, we just need to wait and see what happens. We have to wait and see what detectives are able to gather. You know, we have to find out. We're going to reach out to USF. They have a great forensic expert over there that I believe is here on scene, and I would love to be able to talk to her and get more answers. And we understand the investigation can sometimes be, you know, they can't talk about that, but it would be interesting to talk to her about the process. What is it that happens when they show up to a scene like this? What is it they're looking? What are the tools? What is the process? And hopefully that'll give us at least a bit of a better idea of what's happening back there and why it may take this all day, perhaps, you know, or several days to be able to do this, to gather the evidence and look for whatever they're looking for out there. So that's the step one, is hurry up, and now we wait. We're going to continue to reach out to the Hernando County Sheriff's Office and try to get answers from them. If they can give us a little bit of information, at least letting us know, you know, what this initial investigation is about, then we can put kind of the minds of a lot of neighbors out here at ease. I spoke to a woman who bought a home here a year ago, and didn't know that she was living across the infamous property and home of the serial killer Billy Mansfield. So a lot of them are concerned, a lot of them are worried about what's happening out here, but a few of them did say at the same time, if there is something that is here, if there are bodies that are hidden or buried here, they are hoping that those will be discovered, that justice will be served, and hopefully this will be cleaned up, and this will kind of restore the neighborhood to a place where, you know, not everybody is connected to that history of Billy Mansfield. So here we can see a couple of the deputies. They've been taking, by the way, these ATVs because they're all the way in the back of the property. They have to take these ATVs and take the forensic experts all the way back out there. So that's a little bit about what we're seeing. And JB, you mentioned, what do we do now? I think we're going to be here a while. They've got a mobile command center out here, which means this has gotten to be a bit of a bigger deal, and I think they're going to be out here, if not for most of the day, all day.
8 on your sides, Marco Villarreal with the live report here for us on WFLA Now. As a reminder, folks, all the stories that we've been referencing, the very latest on this story, including all the interviews that we've been talking about, it's all on WFLA.com, the WFLA app. Just head over there, look for reports from Marco, from 8 on your sides, Melanie Michael, and 8 on your sides, Ryan Hughes. You can find them all on the front page of our website, again, WFLA.com. I'd really like to thank Marco for all his reporting out there in Spring Hill, Florida, and we'll have more coverage throughout the day on this story here on WFLA.com and the WFLA app. A busy day here in the Tampa Bay area. Campaign stops by former Vice President Joe Biden, President Donald Trump, right here in the Bay Area. But again, for more on this story, the latest, WFLA.com and the WFLA app. For Marco Villarreal, I'm JB Buno. Thanks so much for being with us. We will be back here on WFLA Now in the hours ahead.
As suckers and losers. Well, I regard those who serve this country as patriots, and so does Joe Biden. Joe Biden won't have to run a focus group to know what's on the minds of a military family, because the Bidens are a military family. They get it. He knows what it is as suckers and losers. Well, I regard those who serve this country as patriots, and so does Joe Biden. Joe Biden won't have to run a focus group to know what's on the minds of a military family, because the Bidens are a military family. They get it. He knows what it is, as so many families here have gone through, to hug a loved one goodbye before they head off downrange and get on one of those gray tail planes to take them over.